Good evening, it's Artzenin. Last week in the vlog, we had discussed Deja's past and how she was going to be a potential villain. And I wasn't quite too sure how this villain career was gonna pan out for her. Since Deja is the Chloe Price in this story, I needed to recreate that. I needed to recreate what made Chloe Price so lovable and dislikable, depending on what kind of gamer you are and how you want to just take Chloe Price, I guess. I mean, she has good points, but she also had character flaws. And some of those character flaws were damning. Narcissist level damning. So, I've discovered something very key for Maxine's past, which will obviously filter into Deja's past. So for Maxine, she was this person growing up in Purity Vale, Oregon, that when she got her spiritual, supernatural powers activated, well, her powers, specifically the power of sight, when her superpower activates, she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know where to turn to. She doesn't know who to discuss this with. She didn't want people to think she was crazy. All she knew was that this strange thing was happening and she had it. She was able to see in unique ways, and I have discussed this in season 1 of Insights with Artzenin when Snapshot was the primary focus of the whole season. And I had touched on what that power did for her. But this past of Maxine and Deja's, and even Amber Fierce, it is going to be more enhanced in something more. Deja, because she's my Chloe Price, will betray my Maxine Sarsfield. She betrays her not in the beginning stages of the friendship or in the middle of the friendship, but at the very end. Deja is a good person. She means well. I know she loves Maxine and Maxine loves her. They're soulmates. They are perfect for each other in this way, but Deja liked darkness more, which is why she gets up with Amber, because Amber is all about the flesh and Amber is able to feed that carnal nature in Deja that Maxine would never do and Maxine would never tolerate. Well, one of Maxine's abilities with the power of sight is she can see the supernatural. Originally, we had it planned, the project manager and I had it planned that her power of sight to see the supernatural was going to pop up later in her adult life. But I'm the author and I decided that she will have a mini preview to what she will experience as an adult when she goes over to Paris, France in her 20s. So there's this building, right? And something more, this historical landmark. In Life is Strange, they had the totem pole in Tubunga, and the lore there was, the local legend said that there were these Native Americans and they were buried on the land, and hence the supernatural and the demon Tubunga. So to recreate that, but to be more biblical about the consequences of dabbling in such things concerning the spiritual realm and the dead, which Christians are not supposed to entertain, because the dead typically leads into witchcraft. I mean, there's 2 types of dead. I mean, there's the physical dead when your body is just no longer moving because your nefesh has ejected, which means you're asleep, but it's to represent the body is dead. And then there is the dead of you're talking to the supernatural, that is the dead. And that's a no-no. If you're a Christian, you do not do that. You cannot do that. Maxine knows this because Maxine went to Purity Fellowship Church. So did Deja. They both went. They both went to church. And they were both taught spiritual warfare. And they were taught that the differences between these terms, and that you do not go looking for evil or evil will find you. You do not dabble in witchcraft. You do not talk to the dead, meaning the spirits, demons, People who say, oh, I saw my dead grandpa. I saw my mom and they were dead and now they're showing up in a dream. Sorry. Enoch even debunks that. And I agree with Enoch on that, but there are other Navi prophets of the book that also debunk this and clearly say it's just a demon taking the form of your loved one, a seraphim of the Lord. The Lord themselves would never do this. Once you're dead, you're dead. Your nefesh is either in Shayayim or it is in the pit of hell, or it's in Tartarus. It's somewhere that is not, and I said hell or Tartarus because Tartarus it's a deeper location within hell. I mean, wherever your nefesh is going after your judgment, if you reject the Lord, it's either Shayayim, which is the sky above all skies, heaven, or it is the pit, hell. And if you're after Revelation in the war, you're in the lake of fire, which is a jail. Hell is a jail too, but I digress. Maxine took that very seriously. Deja was curious. Her whole thing was, well, why? Why can't we talk to demons? Why can't we talk to the dead? We can talk to seraphim, we can talk to the Lord, but we can't talk to a demon. This child, bless her heart, she was entertaining a wrong urge, a wrong thought. So in Purity Vale, there is this historical location, which is to recreate the whole thing within Life is Strange. Because again, you guys have to remember, this is the Christian adaptation of Life is Strange. We are countering it. So we had to bring in something supernatural in that way. So it's this big building. It's this, like, think of the Palace of Versailles in France. I believe Versailles is the Palace of Versailles is in France. Like that building, that type of architecture, the layers, the levels, the compound, the estate structure. Purity Vale has this type of place. But it wasn't for government events or parties or galas or a place of meeting of bureaucrats and aristocrats, right? This was a place people went to do rituals. It was a cult. It was a cult base back in the day. 1300s, 1400s, or something around there. Believe it or not, Lee Ji-yu is nowhere involved with this, ironically. Lee Ji-yu does not own this building in the States, in Purity Vale, Oregon. Lee Ji-yu is not even existing in this area of the world during this timeline. The Game Master is active, and she's making locations for Lee Ji-yu, but Purity Vale, Oregon, that little town, no. But what those people of that era, the town was at war as far as who they wanted to worship. A pagan deity or the deity, Hashem, Yahweh, Jehovah, Ruach HaKodesh, Yeshua Christ. So the town couldn't become one on this, so they split. And the people who went over here was the occult, the witches, the warlocks, the wizards, the people who wanted the witchcraft. And then the people who chose the Lord went over there, where Max's family was born. And these rituals and occults were the real thing. Like, those individuals that were serving the occult and performing witchcraft was going over to the other side where the Christians were and dragging them over there as a sacrifice. Like, these people were legit sacrificed. They were killed, or they were a virgin and they were given away and there was intercourse involved. Like, it was bad. Well, eventually it got to the government. It got to I'm talking the White House, and they sent their officials out there and they shut it down. Not because of politics, quote, religion. They shut it down because innocent people are dying. Innocent people are being killed and sacrificed. Animals are also being sacrificed. It is mayhem. It is a matter of life and death. So the president, my fake president that I'll probably imply, gets involved. And they shut down this building. And they round up all of the occultists and all of these people who were worshiping this pagan deity. That pagan deity has a name. Because as scripture says, when you bow down to a false religion, when you make man-made, woman-made ways in religions, it's just demons hiding behind it. If you worship that, then you give them power. You give them a purpose. These demons stick around. read Enoch, read Jeremiah, read Amos. It's there. So religion in this sense is a bad thing. Religion in this sense means you are honoring everything and everyone but Yahweh, and the demons are hopping on that train and they're taking advantage of the humans who believe that who they're worshiping, who they honor is real when they're not. And in this town, the Christians knew that it was a demon and a demonic thing, so they didn't go anywhere around it. But the occult, they made their own rule book. They had their hierarchy. They had scrolls. It was a legit false religion. So then, because it was a historical thing, they decided to turn it into a museum, but weird stuff happened. I'm talking people would go into this museum and they would find them dead, or somebody is walking down the hallway and they hear screaming, stuff is flying around, they see stuff. It's all just demonic activity. So then the mayor of that era says, all right, not a museum, not a tourist attraction. We are shutting it down. There's a vault in this building, in the lowest area of this building. And in that vault, the mayor sealed away the God that the people honored. Now, this God was made out of human bone and deer bone. They the people they sacrificed and the animals they sacrificed, well, they just pieced that together, glued it all together. They used the proper materials, put some clothes on it, and then they bowed down to that image. Maxine would never go in this place. Maxine stayed away from it. But there's a reason Maxine stays away from it. In Deja's journal, you will find out how Deja approached that abandoned place with Amber. I don't want to give that away. This is about Max. I had to say all of that background information for this to make sense. Max's first legit experience seeing the supernatural was in that place. Without Deja knowing or anyone knowing, she went to the building. It was abandoned. She's a photographer. She thought it would look good in her portfolio because everyone knows the legend behind it. Everyone knows what went on. Everyone knows that the town split, the president got involved, and then it turned into a museum. Like, this is all fascinating to her from an artistic point of view, right? So even as a middle schooler who was still fresh, dabbling into photography, she knew that was going to be her passion. She wanted one piece in her collection that would just pop, would stand out against all odds. It would be the piece that would be the network starter. At least that's what she was thinking back then. She had so many regrets because when she went to the location, she saw it. She saw the evil spirit that haunted that place. Now, in the vault is where the physical image is. But because it's a spirit and it's a demon, it appeared to her and she saw this thing and it was hideous. And he saw her and they're both just like, whoa, you can see me? Because he can't leave. Because the priest that they brought in to exorcise that place bound him in the name of the Lord. The Lord gave him the authority to cast out this demon, but the demon begged the priest, don't send me back to hell. Send me to the vault. So to the vault where the image was placed is where it stayed. But Max saw it and it scared her so bad that she never wanted to dabble in this gift again. But she does because she needed to understand it. As much as it scared her, it fascinated her. And she tried to okay, what am I doing? Why am I seeing this? That was terrifying. So this is Max's reason why she won't go into that place. And this will play into Deja's journal and the new journal entry that I have for Deja and in something more. But this is just part one of Maxine's past. There's more. It started with the demon, but it's going to end with something else that I think readers will find absolutely thrilling as to why Maxine asked the Lord to never let her use that part of her power. I'll see you in the next update. Much love. Bye.